This week, we're celebrating something pretty cool. Reuseabox is turning 10. To mark the occasion, we're doing something a little special. We've caught up with some of the people who've helped build, grow, and keep Reuseabox running over the last decade. From warehouse stories to big milestones, we're diving into what it's really been like to be part of the journey. Let's get into it. Hi.
Hi. Off to a great start, guys.
Can you introduce yourself and your role at Reuseabox?
Yeah, so I'm Alice. I'm the digital content designer here at Reuseabox. I've been here for about 4 years now, coming up to 4 years. My job basically means that I do everything to do with digital design. So that's graphic design, illustrations, motion graphics, videography, and I edit this lovely podcast as well.
Yay.
It's amazing what you can do with editing.
Yeah, and best believe I'll be editing this one quite a lot.
Is it true you actually moved up here to work for Reuseabox?
Yeah, so I started this job as soon as I finished my master's degree in graphic design, which I actually did my final major project on a reusable packaging project. So I didn't know whether to stay in Bournemouth where I lived at the time or try and find a job. And I was looking at jobs up here and saw this one for a reusable box company and thought, well, it's a sign. I've just done my master's on this. Yeah, that was 4 years ago.
Yeah. I can't believe you stayed, actually. Only because, let me finish, because we slightly catfished you into the job. And,
Yeah.
and
I have no recollection of this.
I did feel a bit bad about it at the time. Because if you remember, Jack,
what?
we were having some like office refurbishments done at the time. And we didn't have a fully functioning
I think
toilet.
it's just because we didn't have an office,
toilets.
isn't it?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have fully
We weren't
functioning
refurbishing
toilets.
them.
So for those listening at home, what happened was I went to my interview in this lovely posh office, a very lovely posh fancy place.
Which we'd borrowed.
And then
Meeting room.
a meeting room. And then I started the job maybe a few weeks after that, and I turned up on a farm where there were no working toilets, and I had to walk 5 minutes down the road to a portaloo if I needed to use the toilet.
I know. Like Jack, I was like, Jack, the toilet's definitely going to be ready for when I start. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And then he was like, well, it might just be a few days. And I had to walk you down to the portaloo, and I thought, she's never going to come back on Monday.
I thought it was going to be my first and last day.
Yeah. But you didn't, you stayed.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm here for the greater good.
And we did.
And
did
the multiple toilets we now have.
Yeah, we now have flushing toilets on site.
You. So what's been your favourite piece of content you've worked on?
So I love working on most of the silly videos that we do, the sort of parody ones, just because it's fun and it's fun for me to edit them. And there have been times I've been at home editing, proper laughing, belly laughing at some of the scenes because they're just so silly. I just feel like when you can have fun at your job, that means you've got a good job. You know, you don't want to be, I'm not speaking for everybody here, but I assume most people don't want to be at a job where they just are not having any fun at all. They're just having a horrible time. So the one that comes to mind is the first ever quotation silly one we did.
That's great.
Yeah, it was the first time that we were let's just not take ourselves too seriously. Let's just go and do something a bit fun, see how it works as well, because it was a test, really, wasn't it? If you remember, it was let's see how people respond to this, and if they respond badly, let's never do something silly again. But it worked out really well, and it was when you were dressed, Ellie, as a tree,
yes,
and Jack had to throw a box at you.
One of the most popular gifts that you can get on.
Yeah. But I think the funniest thing for me about it as well is we didn't get that in one take.
No.
There were multiple takes of Jack throwing the box at you and me being hang on, can we just do that again? Hang on.
I was in a lot of pain at the end of the day.
And you do this dramatic fall to the ground. I was just laughing so much editing that. Also, the mockumentary we did of The Office, where Matt is just eating cold beans out of the tin. Just makes me laugh so much. Because in the voiceover, you're we put together the team of the best in the industry, and it's just Matt staring into space eating cold beans. Yeah, so I like it when we can just sort of be a bit silly and not take ourselves too seriously, and also we can laugh at ourselves, and I think that's good for a company. I think
it
makes us likable, I think, as well.
Well, I think firstly, for a company that sells boxes, if you just focus on boxes, they're going to be the world's most boring videos. So there's no point in doing that. And I guess the other thing that you've done that I think we've done really well is trying to I think when you have such a serious problem that you're trying to solve in society, I think the last thing people really need is like more serious, scary, stressful videos or content.
I think we even tried once to do a more serious video that was like, this is what's happening, trees are being cut down, but it just did not do nearly as well as the ones when we're just like, you can see that we're having fun, because it's community as well, isn't it?
I get a lot of people that say to me, when's the next cheesy video coming out? And I'm like, they're not cheesy, they're funny. Like,
one person's cheesy is another man's funny. So.
Question, Alice. If you take yourself back to before you left Bournemouth and you were kind of thinking of moving up here and you thought, reusable packaging company, maybe that's a sign, maybe that's the sort of company I might want to work for, a more purpose-driven brand. If you take yourself back to then, how does it stack up? What you thought versus what you got.
I feel like it's pretty much what I expected.
Really? Portaloos and all?
Well, maybe not that much. I feel like in terms of the role, definitely, because I knew I wanted to do a role that was like a bit more like a mixture of, like, I did my master's degree in graphic design, but I also did like television production at uni, so I've got that videography experience, and I really enjoy doing like little animations and illustrations. So the like amalgamation of my job role is something that also attracted me to this company, because I feel like I'm the kind of person that gets bored doing the same thing over and over again. So the fact that I get to like switch things up is cool. And also, like, we may just sell cardboard boxes, but there's such a bigger picture at play. So it's not just doing graphics and videos of boxes. It's so much more. It's about like sharing the impact, and I can talk to that about other people as well. When they ask me what I do, I don't just say I work for a cardboard box company. I say like I do all of these cool things, and it's all about the environment, and I can do videos, and it just makes it sound more exciting than
when you when you say boxes, people's eyes just kind of glaze over, and they're like,
I think we are a box company, to be honest. I've been to box companies.
There are a lot of boxes out there, Jack.
Well, it's just how we do what we want to do. We want to have a positive impact on society. Boxes is one way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's the proudest moment you've had sharing Reuseabox's story?
So, because I've been here nearly 4 years, I feel like I've seen the company grow quite a bit in such a small amount of time. I mean, obviously, the farm with the Portaloo to now here at our own site, own warehouse, like own offices, flushing toilets.
Multiple flushing toilets.
Yeah. I think so. Just seeing like the difference that the company, like what place we're in now. Like obviously we're B Corp certified. That was like a huge thing for you, Ellie, and obviously I was kind of working alongside you doing all the designing and stuff for that. So that's quite like a proud thing, I think, being part of a B Corp company. Also, like when people ask me about what I do and I start explaining it, and they're like, "Oh right, so like, is it very big?" And we work with a lot of big household names. Like I think a lot of people are surprised when I tell them that, and it does make me feel quite proud when I say like, "Oh yeah," because we take the boxes from Every and Hovis and Yo Valley, and they're like, "Oh wow, like big companies then," and I'm like, "Yeah, like this is bigger than it just." I think it's bigger than it seems when you just say, "Oh, we're like a small secondhand box company."
It's bigger than us, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it really helps people to see the bigger picture as well, and that's quite a proud feeling when I sort of name drop and they're like, "Oh wow."
And what's like, if you had to say like the single biggest thing that you've learned since you've like joined us? It doesn't have to be about boxes or about Reuseabox or the impact, but it doesn't matter. Just like the single biggest thing.
You're going off script, Jack.
Most important.
Panicking. I feel like I'm in a job interview. What have I learned? I guess I think you are so much like bigger. Like your impact is so much bigger than you think it is as one person. So like, I feel like so many people are like, "Oh, but I'm only one person, so there's no point in me recycling," because like it doesn't make a difference. I'm just one person. But I feel like being here has really taught me about like being a small part of a bigger operation.
Mm-hmm.
So like I am making a huge difference just by what I do, just because I work here, you know, like I am filming this content, I'm putting it out there, that's being seen by loads of people, that's me making a difference in my own way. Like there's no, oh, I'm so tiny, I'm only one person, it doesn't matter what I do, like it doesn't have an effect. I think I've learned it really does have an effect, because there's like 20 odd people here that work here, but look at everything that like those 20 people have achieved. Look at the amount of like boxes that have been reused since day one of this company. It's huge.
And
but that couldn't have been done without every single person in this team, you know.
Yeah, nice, goosebumps.
Yeah, I think like, and it shows like you just choosing the company, the kind of company you want to work for, can have such a huge impact as well. Because, like, you know, technically with your skills, you could work for so many different companies, couldn't you?
She couldn't. Don't tell her that.
Obviously,
Stop going off script.
She wouldn't, obviously.
I like what you were saying, Alice. I think people often like there's when it comes to like the climate crisis, like it's possibly the most important thing that mankind has to work out how to overcome eventually. And you know, people always think that, you know, to change the world you have to do these big grand things, or it's these big famous people in history, but really it's just normal everyday people working together, doing little things every day consistently, gradually overcoming those obstacles and achieving stuff. And if we can do that and, you know, build a bit of a community around it and have a good time and make silly videos, you know, then I think we're probably doing a pretty good job, you know.
Yeah. I agree.
So, tell us something that we might not know about you.
So, I think you do know this, but the listeners might not, is that I have a famous cat who is famous online. He has been viewed by 28.8 million people.
Wow.
And it's funny because he's just like being horrible. He's like biting in it. But yeah, pretty famous.
The most famous cat on social media.
I don't think he's that famous.
I
Bagel.
don't think there's many famous cats on social media, though, is there?
Not really, but he like that video. It's like the video itself is viral. I'm always getting sent like compilation videos from like even like from Instagram Reels where I didn't even post it, of like that video like in a
Really?
Yeah. Or sometimes like a meme account will post it, but they'll like flip it so it doesn't look like the original. And then I'll get people sending it to me being like, "Is this Harrison? Is this your hair?" And I'm like, yeah. I do remember actually after it went viral, I came into work and the first thing you said to me, Jack, was, "Can you do a viral video with Reuseabox?" And I was like, "No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, unfortunately."
Yeah, if only. But you have 2 cats, right?
Yeah, and Beans.
So is Beans not quite as famous as Bagel?
He's got 200,000 on one.
Yeah.
It was because he's from Stoke-on-Trent. That was the whole TikTok.
Final question. Want you to use your imagination. So we're going to go forward in time. We're going to go to the year 2035, and we're kind of keen to understand where do you see the world? Where would you like to see the world? And how are we, or what we do, or the problem that we fix, how is that part of that?
So I, obviously as the person who edit these podcasts, have listened to every single answer that has ever been given for this question. And so it's kind of hard for me to think of something super original because there's like so many parts from everybody's answers that I agree with and I pick up on. But for me, like where I'd like to see the world in 10 years, I don't know how realistic it is, unfortunately, is just people having more empathy and kindness. Because I just feel like the world is such a scary place at the moment with like global warming and climate change, like wars, people spreading hate speech all the time. I just feel like it's such a horrible place to be, and it would all be solved pretty much if everybody was just cared a bit more about each other, like care about the people, care about the planet, care about trees, care about animals. Just, you know, we're all sharing this planet together, and it's the only one we've got. So let's be kind.
Good answer. I definitely feel like, you know, where you've got this like growing inequality in pretty much everywhere in the world, I think people definitely do get more selfish and you get more fighting, and I think we're definitely starting to see that. But but I do like I'm always like amazed. Like we go to like B Corp events or People Planet Pint, and you see so many great people that actually care about stuff that's bigger than themselves. I actually think that's like, I don't think we know everything as a company. We're quite a small company. We're not like a world leader, I guess. But I think one thing we do get quite well is I think we're quite good at working out how to focus on things that are bigger than ourselves, like or individually throughout the team, on a regular basis. And I think that I think that's something that's kind of lacking a lot. I think
even what you said about the B Corp community, like it's easy to forget, like because we're part of this community of like other amazing businesses, and everybody's making such positive change in like social environmental issues, that it's easy to forget that there's loads of people who aren't like that as well. And I just think we need more people like Reuseabox, more B Corp companies, like more people that are like doing business for good as opposed for doing it for money and selfish reasons.
Yeah, and it's like I just kind of feel like we don't always need to get paid for everything. Obviously, we need to make profit. Obviously, we want
Don't stop paying me, please.
Obviously, we want to, we want to be able to keep building our company. We want to look after people. We want to invest in people, but I think I really think that not getting paid for everything in life is in a business is like an important thing to do.
I think like some of these big issues as well, I think in a way businesses are leading the way, as you can see with B Corp, and we need businesses to lead the way because obviously our politicians are struggling. That's one word for it. So yeah, I love the B Corp movement, and let's hope many more businesses join.
So that's my 10-year plan. There's going to be loads more B Corp businesses, more people doing business as a force for good, and the world will be a better place because of it.
Yes.
What was your favourite answer to that question, having heard all of them?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I just know that like everything's been covered pretty much.
I thought the best one was, do you remember who was it? When she answered it and she was like, actually, I'm not going to answer that question because I feel like businesses are very good at talking about what they will do and where they will get to, but I'm more focused on like what.
As in the other day, the woman from Amplify Goods.
Amplify Goods, yeah.
Yeah, Camilla at Amplify Goods.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a great response. I'm actually not going to answer that question, and here's why.
We've never had that before.
But I thought that was a really good point. I mean, so many, especially like a lot of the bigger brands, you see it where it's like by 2050 we're going to achieve net zero, and it's like but what are you doing today and how is that having an impact? And it like obviously it sounds much bigger when you look at over time, or if you put it into the future, it sounds it sounds more impressive sometimes, but actually like it's little things every day make a huge difference. Thanks for joining us, Alice.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the podcast, Tom.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Are we rolling?
Yeah.
We're rolling, yes. I think Tom was keen to take over from you on maternity when you're on maternity.
That's very true. I was going to wear a wig, but I got told not to, and then I had to shave, which I should have done. I forgot.
Yeah. We're going?
Okay.
Can you introduce yourself and your role at Reuseabox?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Tom. I'm one of the national account managers here. So mostly I deal with existing customers, but I've been picking up a bit of the new business as well, so helping integrate and find new people to join the Reuseabox family.
And tell us, Tom, what's a typical day in your department?
I don't know if there is a typical day, to be fair, because every day has its challenges. I suppose typical day would be swearing at my emails, but that's mainly because they don't work. No, they do work, but it's just very slow. Typical day, it would be kind of getting. You quite often have a list of customers that you want to speak to, so people who maybe haven't ordered in a bit, or if you've had queries through and stuff like that. There's kind of doing that. There's the kind of reactive stuff. So people email in saying, "Where are my boxes?" You say they're on the way, and then you send them like tracking links and stuff like that. Or kind of going and calling people and saying, oh, notice you haven't ordered in a while. Are you still using these boxes? Oh, have you got any other boxes we can help you with? So we're always looking to, kind of promote the wider range and give people more options.
Obviously, boxes is a pretty boring product to sell.
I don't think there's a more boring product than boxes.
No,
Well, I mean, at least we've got a product to sell. In my last one, I had to sell magazine advertising. So I go, this is what someone has done previously.
Oh, right.
This could be you, but what would you put in there? So you're just kind of selling blank space. So at least I'm happy. I've got a product to sell.
Yeah.
You guys ever see the Simpsons episode where they go to the cardboard box factory?
Do you know what? I haven't actually.
It's just like really boring school trip. It's a school trip for the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to a watercress farm, so I think So
How do you make it more exciting for the customer?
I don't know. Look, I think you've got to put spin's not the right word, but you've got to get people to kind of buy into what you're selling, haven't you? Because a box is a box is a box. But if you can say to people, look, we can save you up to 50% on your packaging, and kind of by the way, also we can do reports where we can say, look, this is how many trees you've saved, this is how many thousands of litres of water. Then it kind of flips the narrative, and sustainability is a big thing. And a lot of people can actually take kind of branded boxes and stuff like that. And the old comeback is like, oh yeah, but what about our branding and stuff? So, well, to be honest, do you ever buy anything off Amazon? Because, how many times do you actually look and go, oh, that's a nice, bit of branding from Amazon? No, you rip it open, you take what's in it, and unfortunately, if you're at home, then it goes in recycling. So
I always say it's a big myth. When nobody's ever bought something for the box that it came in. No, unless you've got a cat, in which case you buy them a cat bed and they sleep in the cardboard box. Yeah. But people don't. People don't buy products for the packaging they come in.
No.
Some people do, but they're odd. Most people don't.
You might look at it as a differentiator in like a supermarket or something like that. That's where kind of boxing becomes more important in terms of visibility, standout, blah blah blah. But in terms of actually delivering to
shipping boxes,
customers and shipping, there's no point. So,
question for you, Tom.
Yeah.
Why Reuseabox? Why do you work here?
Why do I work here? Well, I got told off by marketing for the first reason that I said, which is Reggie, our marketing manager, who's Henry, our transport manager's dog, was a big pull, but at the same time, that's not obviously my main answer. It's nice to have a product where you can say, like, I help make a bit of a difference. Like the women in my family are really, like into the pastoral side. So my mum's like hospital chaplain, my sister's a speech and language therapist, and I used to be like, well, I sell magazine advertising. Whereas now at least I say, I sell used cardboard boxes, and people go, what? And then I go, yeah, but kind of then I explain in the impact report and things like that, and people go, oh, I get it. So kind of at least I'm helping to do a little, make a little bit of a difference in my own way.
How does that feel? How does that compare to selling advertising?
Oh, it's a million times better. It's a million times better. It's a much easier sell as well. But then it's getting it right. And I suppose the sticking point for a lot of people is kind of if they've got a certain size or they're used to a certain thing, that's how it fits. It's then kind of talking them around to saying, well, actually, if I could save you 50%, could you work out a different way of packaging your box? So that's more of the challenge. But people will always need boxes. Magazine advertising is very much, I probably shouldn't say this. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm not doing it now. But I don't know how much it works. Like,
the last time I bought a magazine.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have people paying quite a lot of money for like double page spreads and stuff, and sometimes it's my competitors are doing it, so I'll do it. It's very much like the Coke and Pepsi, like, you know, do they need to advertise? Well, not really, because, you know, but because one advertises, the other one advertises. So, whereas we don't have that kind of competitive marketplace in the same respect. So, I don't know if I went off topic then, to be honest.
No, I think not really. I think like our product's almost kind of like a necessary evil. It's like nobody gets up and they're like, oh God, off to buy boxes today. Woo. Yeah. It's like they have to buy it because they have products that they want to ship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was that one time, or occasionally, some people like order on Christmas Day, don't they? And we think, what are those people doing to just like sitting on the?
I mean, at least order on Boxing Day.
Set you up for that one, didn't
thanks for that.
Tom.
Yes.
One thing I've learned is you tell a lot of cheesy jokes.
I do. I do. Yeah.
But I was curious. Have you learned anything that's been impactful to your life since you've been here?
Have I learned something? Gosh, that's put me on the spot a little bit.
What's the most important thing you've learned? If you had to choose one single thing that's...
If I had to choose one thing from working at Reuseabox, I think it's the importance of a shared vision, the kind of almost kind of good small company mentality, if you know what I mean, because you get some small companies that are not very well run, or, you know, kind of the CEO's a bit of a tyrant. Which doesn't happen here, by the way. No, it's very much like everyone's kind of pulling together in one direction. So, you know, kind of it's quite impactful to see that, and, you know, people pull together as well. You know, so we're very much kind of close knit bunch, and it's the importance of good management as well, and, you know, kind of. I think that is something that is important, and again, you know, I'm not saying this for, you know, ulterior motives or anything like that, but actually this is a company that, you know, I'm really proud to work for. It's one of the best companies I've worked for, and, you know, I feel supported, and I'm happy in my job. I'm happy to kind of come to work, and I'm happy to sell cardboard boxes. And the amount of times I talk about it when I'm chatting to mates in the pub, they're like, "Will you shut up about the boxes?" I can't help it. I think I'm sorry. I need help, guys.
I feel like that's brought a tear to my eye, Tom.
Well, I'm not allowed to use the F word, am I? By the way, that's family, rather than, you know, because that's a bit. We're more like, you know, we're the friends, you know, kind of, you know, they say like friends of the. That's it. Yeah.
We're an elite sports team.
Oh, that's it.
So not
Reuseabox.
Yes. Just be careful. I can't name teams, so that's fine.
Okay. Tell us something we might not know about you.
Something you might not know about me. I'm a pretty open book. I don't know if I can say this. I'm getting red, aren't I? I once modelled for life drawing when I was at university. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that?
You modelled for life drawing?
Yeah, you know. So...
I think this is going to get taken down this episode. Everything's getting so explicit.
Am I not allowed
life draw? I'm joking.
Yeah.
Life drawing's perfectly grown up.
That's,
so...
It's art, right?
It is art. It is. I was completely. Yeah, I had to do poses. And which is kind of like, and then I did a couple, and then I looked away, and then I heard the door open and close, and then I kind of looked back down, and my mate Callum sat right in the front row. Just, all right, Tom. I went, all right, Callum. I'm gonna look over here now. So yeah, it was. I should have prepared my answer for that one. So, okay.
Well, your career's really come on since then.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I mean, now you know, it's much more tasteful. I get fruit in the wet. No, I'm kidding. I did it twice, and then that was it. That was the end of my Well, the first time, the place we did it in burnt down.
Really?
So we ended up doing it in my friend's living room the second time. It's like me and 8 girls. It was not awkward.
I'm just expecting the story to go on like Tom.
No.
Tom, what do you think life drawing is?
So yeah.
Tom.
Yes.
I want you to use your imagination.
Right.
The year is 2035. 10 years in the future. Where do you want to see the world, and how do you want what we do, the problem that we solve for society? Where do you want us to be in that world? What do you want us to be doing? How are we part of that?
What,
world?
just us, or like, okay.
The problem that we solve, or
Yeah.
you know, and your role in that as well. Where do you want us
Okay.
to be, and maybe where do you think we'll be if you're not too confident?
Yeah, I think first off, I'd like to see like a little bit more kindness in the world. Like, I think, you know, kind of. Yeah, it's been a pretty sketchy couple of years in terms of like the world, you know, geopolitical, everything basically, and it's a little bit worrying, kind of looking forward currently, because you don't know what the state of the world's going to be next year, let alone 10 years in the future. I mean, yeah, I would like to see a society that, you know, kind of people just take people's, you know, like just have more care for people, just think, and just not immediately like pigeonhole people. Obviously for, you know, kind of Reuseabox, and, you know, kind of you know, kind of it would be great to see, you know, kind of us going strong, all guns blazing, you know, kind of we're currently a sales team of 4. I think Andy said, you know, kind of we can easily scale it to 40. I think in 10 years, that's, you know, if you take in 4 a year, then that's 40. Yeah.
Maybe.
I've got AS maths just scraped it. So, but yeah. No, I think there's definitely a place for what we do. You know, and I think from a kind of sustainability point of view, you know, kind of there's already legislation going through around, you know, kind of new boxes versus used, pre-used boxes. So I think there's space for us, you know, kind of 10 years time, you know, kind of hopefully global. You know, I'll happily be head of Reuseabox New Zealand if you want me to, you know, or Hawaii. No, I'm not really good with the hoop, but yeah.
That's a big market for us.
You know, Switzerland maybe. Switzerland's probably a reasonable market. Yeah, we'll see.
I just feel like we should
Or
pay more
France.
tax in this country.
Yeah, just, you know, kind of just ahead of EMEA. There we go. That'll do. So, but no. I think, genuinely, I think, you know, kind of, I would love to see us and more companies like us, you know, and collaborations, and, you know, kind of looking at, you know, kind of. So obviously we're looking at boxes, but, you know, kind of there's people doing great stuff in other areas as well. You know, there's people trying to tackle, you know, kind of fast clothing, fast fashion, that sort of thing. Again, you know, kind of maybe that's a, you know, kind of a tie-in we could do further down the line or something like that. You know, really help, you know, kind of people think holistically about what they're doing.
I think it's interesting you talked about wanting people to be kinder and that. So true. I think, well, like, especially when like a business scenario, you know, when everyone's so much pressure and you know, and like targets, hard to sometimes just actually to think about other people and, you know, how would you feel if you were in their shoes?
Well, exactly. Especially like sales and the way that sales is represented in
I was
films, you know.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, to be fair, if in 10 years we've got rid of selling with this pen, I'll be damn happy, because that could just, you know, I'm sick of selling a pen. It's quite funny. Like, my friend was, I was in the pub and he was like, "Oh, you work in sales, do you?" And he was like, "All right." He was like, "Sell me this dog treat." And I went, "Oh, yeah, one sec, mate." That's it. This dog was next to him. I went, "Here you go, buddy." Yeah, that's it. And I went, "Right, that'll be." He's eating it. So he went, "Touche." So, you know, I said, it's all about knowing your customers, mate. So, you know, but yeah, I just think, you know, kind of if people like genuinely took a bit more time just to, you know, kind of empathise and you know, kind of say, okay, look, I know I've got a load of crap going on, but I'm sure everyone else has a load of crap going on. If we took like 2 seconds to just step back, have a breath, think, then, you know, even the little interactions we could, you know, we could just, you know, make so much difference. And, you know, there'd be so many misunderstandings we'd be able to cut out on, and just less stress, and, you know, maybe that's me being a little bit ideological, but, you know, that's what I'd like to see.
How do you think? How can we do that? Do we do a good job out at the moment?
I think we do. I think to be fair here, kind of it's very, very, kind of transparent here at Reuseabox. So, kind of if stuff comes up, it gets addressed, it gets talked about. Kind of there's no brushing stuff under the carpet. Not there's really anything to brush under the carpet, but kind of it's the fact of kind of everyone makes mistakes. If something has happened, it's how do we learn about it? It's not putting the blame on someone. It's saying, okay, well, kind of. Where is the process? Kind of where could the process be tweaked? How do we kind of just make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think trying to create it where like a frame where it's like we all trust that we all want to do the best we can here. So therefore, if we made a mistake, how do we put our heads together to not do it again?
And I think the other thing is just kind of just checking in. Just being like kind of I'll always be see people mates down the pub and I'm like, you all right, buddy? I'll always ask. If I've got a mate who's looking a bit down, I'll be like, I know it's the 5th time I've asked you tonight, mate, and like you're probably going to tell me to go away. But you sure you're right? Because just saying, even knowing that there's someone there to talk to, just knowing that someone is there, I think is actually a really powerful thing in itself.
Very nice. I think thing I always think like a really nice phrase is like always try and see the best in people. I just think it's actually quite hard to do when you're in the
well, I've got 2 rules that I try to live life by, and it's like number 1 rule number 1 is basically everyone is a friend until they prove you otherwise. And rule number 2 is don't be a D something K. And
what? Don't be a duke. What's a duke?
You know what I mean? So don't be a Wally. In other words,
that's it's a very positive outlook.
I kind of say.
So you like to see the best in people.
Isn't that the motto of like the New Zealand rugby team? Don't be a dick. I think it might be something. Yeah.
I mean, have you seen New Zealand play rugby? They are the masters of the dark arts. Have you seen them in the scrums? I'm like,
yeah.
But yeah.
You haven't, have you?
So
egg chasers.
I was egg chaser and proud. Anyway, but yeah. I think, if you can choose to be anything, choose to be kind.
Can you introduce yourself and your role at Reuseabox?
Yeah, it's Matthew Clode and I'm the finance manager.
So you've been with Reuseabox for over 7 years now, which is most of Reuseabox's life.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen the most change.
Yeah. So you were the first full-time employee, is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
So how has the company changed over that time?
Quite a lot.
We're much more casual. I remember you came up in your first day at my mum and dad's house and you were wearing a full suit.
Yeah, I remember. And I had like a woolly hat and a scarf on or something because it was so cold because we were working in like a kind of shed on the side of our parents' house.
Yeah, soup days have definitely gone.
So was it Rachel the other day? Do you remember when my mum used to have a shower and the water would drip down from the ceiling?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that it's changed since those days. Yeah, definitely.
What's the most challenging decisions you've had to help us make at Reuseabox?
Well, quite a few, but I think the biggest one was probably when we all the prep work for when we moved to the new warehouse and all the added workload and tasks that everyone got. With that, it was a lot of hard work, but it's been good. Yeah. Although it was really challenging, but
I remember there's lots of cost modelling that you did.
Yeah, I lost count of how many times I saved that spreadsheet, but it's been good for growth though. The other side of it, it's been good.
I mean, we've gone from that cave, as we used to call it, to then we rented a site, and now we've finally bought our own site. Yeah. Progress, hey?
Yeah, a lot of progress from seeing your dad iron a shirt in the kitchen.
Don't miss those days, really. What's the proudest moment you've had at Reuseabox, would you say, if there is one?
Well, there's been quite a lot of things over the years, but probably because I know when I first started there wasn't really any department as such. It was sort of just like muddle through together and do what's needed. So I'd probably say sort of creating a finance area. I remember being dumped a load of receipts on my desk one day and it's like, here you go. Maybe a folder.
You're in finance now.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be sort of like the work side. And then I've had a few things personally along the way as well. Like, you know, getting married, moving house, becoming a dad. So there's definitely been a lot of things go on.
Yeah, things have changed dramatically for you. Yeah, what's it been like becoming a dad for you? Because I know that that's like a huge thing that you're pretty proud about, and you also starred on the Parenting Out Loud podcast. Is that right?
Yeah, I did like a video for their campaign.
Yeah.
Just how I'm loud and proud
Yeah.
about being a dad and not shying away from it and the responsibilities that come with it. But yeah, that was a big life change that happens, that quite often
crazy, isn't it?
is expected to happen in 2 weeks and then you get back to normal once they're born. But yeah, in it for the long haul till 18 plus.
Probably your life, really.
Whole life, yeah.
Yeah.
Go by my standards, yeah. 30, yeah, definitely.
Do you think that's given you like a lot more purpose in life?
It's definitely changed how I view everything. Although I was about like people and planet before, with, you know, naturally being at Reuseabox, I think becoming a dad just makes it a bit more like forefront of my mind, because I'm thinking of where she'll be when I'm like 26 when she was born. I was thinking, where will everything be when she's 26? So yeah, it changes everything.
I think I was going to ask, like, over the last 7 years since you've been at Reuseabox, like, what's the most important thing or the most standout thing that you've kind of learned, you know, from this kind of experience? But I was actually going to add kind of one thing I kind of learned, I think, from you, you know, becoming a dad and having a family, was I kind of realised that, you know, like how bad the support is for like working parents in this country, and we're not even the worst for it in the world, you know, but we're not great. But I really kind of thought, wow, that's actually a really big problem in our society, where it's really become really, really very hard to, like, if you're a young person out there and you're not like fucking minted, which is most of us.
yeah, not minted.
But how hard it is to be able to kind of balance that and have a full-time job, and like most people can't not work, so you have to work. And I really kind of, like, I've learned a lot through you on that experience. But
yeah, it's really hard to work full time, and then especially if you have a term time setting that your child goes to. Obviously they go to school, which is term time, but it's even more challenging when you have like a toddler in term time, and trying to work and run a household is a lot.
Yeah, they're just on holiday like all the time, aren't they? Which is
like 13,
that's what it feels like.
14 weeks a year they're on holiday. It's, you know, quite envious of that. Definitely doesn't match with what you get in the workplace.
Well, I was trying to think back to like when we were growing up, like our parents, and the thing I was kind of thinking is, like, obviously money's worth less now, you know. Like I was reading like a stat, and it's like in 1994, the year I was born, and I might be paraphrasing the stat slightly, but it was something like the average income was like £24,000 or something, and the average house price was like £30,000 or something. So like two people could like have an average job, and then maybe over like 2 years, maybe 3 years, save up enough, just, you know, income as well as live, to be able to buy a house. You know, whereas now, you know, average house price is what, like 300,000 or something, 290,000, and average income is what, like 30, early 30s or something. You know, so I kind of feel like probably 20, 30 years ago, probably it was a lot more affordable to do childcare. Whereas now I just think it becomes less and less affordable. And, you know, if anything, I'm kind of like, well, there must be really good quality people that are not in the workplace because they're driven out of it.
Well, no, we can't, it's very hard for families to live on one income, I would say.
Yeah.
So two people really need to work, but then
But
where's
you
the
lose
childcare?
most of the income
It's
on
like,
childcare.
it's like childcare. So the government have recently introduced 30 hours funding from 9 months. sounds
Yeah.
amazing. 30 hours
Doesn't
a
sound
week.
too bad, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, but that works out as 2 days
Right.
because it's stretched
Yeah.
if you're using it all the time because it's term time only. And there's
Which
also
means, I guess, one person would have to not work for 3 days, or
if
yeah.
you're in a nursery setting, this is for nurseries. There's also usually a consumables charge, so they charge a little bit extra because they say that the government don't pay for certain things. So it's not actually as good as it sounds. So yeah, I mean that's really hard. You have to work at least 2 days a week to get that, I think.
Yeah, both parents have to work to get
Yeah.
the full 30 hours, so you have to be a 2-parent household to get it.
And then you have to factor in that they get ill constantly, and and there's lots of holidays if it's term time. It's a huge life-changing thing, and there's just so little government support now, isn't there?
I feel like it's something that should. I feel like that is. If there's one thing that's important that the government should be responsible for trying to like do for people, I think that's a very important thing, because if we don't support people to have more families and to, you know, give children a good, like, them first few years are so crucial.
Yeah.
You know, what's our country going to become? What's our economy going to become in 50 years? Like, it doesn't sound like that important when you think about like all these other things going on in the world, but actually I think it is quite important.
I think there's a lot of campaigning going on, isn't there? I'm sure you follow it, Matt.
There's so much, I forget a lot of them, but yeah, there's like the dad strike where dads went on strike in, was it down in London?
Glad
and
you
they
didn't
hung
go on
out.
strike that day, Matt.
But if you couldn't go there, like encouraging you to pop out baby grows with 2 weeks is not enough. Like there is so much out there, and it's not just about like the paternity side of it. It also like filters into the gender pay gap, and you know the mother's always taking on everything, which
actually
they can't.
As of 1st of September, apparently working mothers are working for free.
Really?
So we're recording this on
for the rest of the year,
on the
so like
2nd.
September to December.
And that's because of the wage gap.
So let's say that the UK government is listening to this, because Keir Starmer's probably a big fan.
Yeah,
of it for a
I
while.
think he is. Yeah.
If you could say one thing to them, Matt, what would you say with regards to that? Because this is like, you know, we're like, our philosophy is people and planet. You know, obviously we're an environmental initiative, and that's what we do. We're an impact business model. But I also like to think that, you know, even though we're a small company, we think about how we have a positive social impact. And I think one thing I've learned by working with you over the last 7 years is how big of a problem this is, just for our company, but every business out there.
Yeah, definitely. It level the playing field on, you know, when a baby is born, because 2 weeks you don't even, you know, remember how to do a nappy by then. It's, you know, so sleep deprived. Yeah, just like level the playing field with how long dads can have off with the mum without, you know, having to go down shared parental, like the mum goes back to work, you stay at home. Because, you know, if they have a C-section, that's like 10 weeks they are not supposed to move or lift anything, but you have a baby there that can be 10 pounds that you have to lift. So definitely more support to allow any size company the basic statutory pay, which also needs to increase, because that is,
absolutely.
if you look at it, like not even minimum wage if you're on maternity leave.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's
And your costs are going to go up because you've got a new mouth to feed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your earnings go down and your costs go up exponentially.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a good place to start is increasing maternity and paternity allowance and time. And I think like businesses have a role in that, don't they? Like they could definitely be more flexible and offer more benefits. Like we've tried to offer some more than the actual minimum, but you know, you can't put everything, especially on a small business. It's not affordable, is it? It's not doable, I don't think. I think that needs to come from government. We need some changes, basically.
I want you to use your imagination, Matt, for the final question. The year is 2035. It's 10 years in the future. I want to know from your perspective, where would you like to see the world? And specifically, how would you like Reuseabox to be part of that?
Oh, it's always the case, isn't it? Definitely a kinder place.
Do you think the world's becoming a less kind place?
I would. Well, there's always a lot of unkind things going on, but I think too many people get in a trap of what society thinks they need to do. Uni, house, married, kids. A lot of people follow the standard path, but I just think everyone being kinder and particularly better parental rights. I'm really proud to push that forward.
That's good. And how could we? How do you think businesses like Reuseabox should be part of that? Should we be like putting more pressure on the government? Should we be? Is it about like collective action of businesses working together to try and collaborate and get policy change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes it's people's mindset as well, because you have people that won't use a second-hand box because of how it looks or what they want to put their branding on it. So there's that as well. But yeah, definitely government change with like all these policies and things.
Well, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Welcome to the Reuseabox podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for those who don't know, can you introduce yourself and what you do at Reuseabox?
So I'm Henry, and my job role or my title is operations manager. What that incorporates is probably a bit of everything.
Don't say, what was it, general dog's body?
Yeah, well, yeah, at
That's
times.
my role.
It's getting less that, but yeah, at times it has been.
Do you remember when you came for your interview?
Yes.
I remember it was when we were still at my mum and dad's house. I remember at their kitchen, in their dining table,
Yeah.
in the room next to the kitchen, talking with you and my dad.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I definitely think we're going to grow. I definitely think there's like legs in this, and we could sell loads of boxes. And for some reason, you believed me,
Yeah.
and joined us.
You're quite good at talking people into this, aren't you, Jack?
Apparently. I think you were one of the first hires that was more like a real grown-up, normal member of the workforce. I don't know, because no offence to any other people, but before then we'd had the people that don't get full-time jobs because they probably can't get full-time jobs, or the people that are kind of new into the workforce.
Yeah, it's something totally different for me as well, because I'd come from had 20 years in a job where it was a big structured organisation, and going to work for a small family firm was something totally different and actually appealed because you did make a difference on each day you turned up to work.
A lot less structure.
And I wanted to...
a lot less structure. But that's been good in a way.
Well, I wanted to actually touch on that because you were certainly the first person and one of the only people that's actually worked for a big corporate company for a longer amount of time and worked more in management as well for that kind of operation. And then obviously you joined not only what became an impact business where it's about people and planet, but also just a startup basically. I was really keen to see was it what you were expecting over the 7 years? And did you think we'd get this far? But also, how does that compare to working at Kuhn & Nagel, for example?
Did I think we'd get this far? At times, yes. At other times, no. But that's been the joy of the journey, really, because you would say every year, but probably every month there's been bumps in the road and obstacles we've had to overcome. And it's been great actually having that input on that day-to-day and that very basic level to get us to where we are today. In terms of what the difference is from my previous roles, you haven't got the backup of every day, every penny counts here.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that's not always the case when you're working in a bigger organisation, although it should. When you're working for multi-million-pound organisations, it's a bit different to working with companies where, when I first started, it was kind of hand-to-mouth, paycheck to paycheck, wasn't it? It was kind of making sure enough money's in the bank to pay people's wages every month, and that was probably seen as a success in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now we've kind of grown, we've got our own facility, and things are really kicking on.
I think it's a great achievement just to be we've made payroll every month
on
time for a decade.
Yeah, and I don't think we've ever been late.
No.
Although there has been probably challenges around it where it's been touch and go.
Last minute.
But yeah, no, to see where we've come in what have I been here, 7 years, it's been great.
And I'm always a bit confused about, like, are we doing a good job of building a company? How typical is this compared to like where other people work? Because I've never had a job. I don't know how it works at like other companies. And we are literally, I had Joe at DS Smith.
Yeah.
I remember he came for a meeting. This was just before we found the deal for the new warehouse and did that deal. So this was like about 18 months ago. I remember sitting with him in the garden at the old place, and it was like early summer, and it was like nice looking over the fields. And he was kind of like amazed at the business that we're building, and he was asking me about it. And then he kind of looked over and he went, "Oh, so you're literally just winging it then? You're literally just making it up as you go along." So he works for a big multinational cardboard box company, and they spent 100 years probably working out how to do everything.
Yeah, I like to call it flying by the seat of your pants.
And he was kind of like, you're literally just making it all up as you go along. And I was like, I never sort of thought about it, but yeah,
in a way. But then in another, yeah, because we don't actually produce anything, we haven't got that manufacturing background or process behind us. In a way, we're winging it. And in the past, that's been a good thing because we've been able to change very quickly to change our operation around to the customer's needs. So if you think back to like when we were doing store closures, and we're going from doing maybe half a trailer loads worth of stuff and a couple of van loads worth of stuff a day, to then churning out 4 trailer loads in a day.
Yeah.
Actually, if you've got so much structure, you can't change your operation that quick to kind of fulfil all those roles. I think the success here is you look at the people who work here, and there isn't now a high turnover of staff.
Yeah.
So something's going right because people wouldn't keep turning up every day over a period of time if the culture or the environment or the job role wasn't enjoyable or what they wanted to do. Yeah, in your early days you did have a few staff members who came and went, and like I said, probably people who maybe just struggled to hold down full-time jobs for various reasons, but the setup now is such that people seem to enjoy coming to work.
I think people enjoy working here, overall. It's got a set of challenges.
What do you think the biggest challenge has been in working for a startup?
The biggest challenge probably is from the very beginning, that lack of structure, but that gives you your biggest opportunity as well. So from that lack of structure, actually it gives you the opportunity to build that structure. And sometimes through knowledge, sometimes through trial and error, we've actually built something that works, and we're continually evolving every week, every month to make it better.
And do you, if you compare it to spending 20 years at a corporate, big organisation that's very well structured, probably a lot more successful in a lot of ways, how do you compare that? Like, is it just a different experience where it's like, you can do it this way, you can do it that way, there's no right or wrong way? Or do you feel like now that we're at least working out how to run a company a bit better? I think we're not getting that. I think we're not that bad at running a company at this point. Finally, like how do you compare those two experiences? Like, is not is it better, but like how do you compare them? And actually, what's the impact it has on your life?
I suppose in comparison, I say there's a lot more structure and organisation in a big multinational company, obviously. The change in job for my life has been, well, I work more hours now for less pay, and everything you would say around that would be a negative, but actually you go home with a bit more fulfilment every day because you've got a bit more of a sense of achievement. You're constantly evolving things here, you're constantly achieving new wins, you're finding new ways to do things, you're finding better suppliers, you're finding better contacts, whereas previously you've got your little area and that's your little area and you can't really go out of it.
I kind of wonder, it's interesting, I kind of wonder sometimes whether it's like, and I think this is, sometimes I wonder whether the thing that we get right, which is just naturally because we're a smaller company, and I think because we didn't ever have any experience at the workplace before really, we've just sort of run with it to some extent. But I feel like here, everyone has a lot of responsibility. I feel like here, anybody in any role could probably come to the table one day and say, I've got an idea of completely changing this role, or I want a new role, I've got an idea for a new role, or I think we should do something completely different, or shall we do this? And I feel like it would be taken seriously, and if we feel like you know there's not going to be any negative impacts, we'd probably try it, and I think people trust that.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether like that's what gives people fulfillment, because the vibe I get when we go to these bigger companies is that like people
They
don't
don't have any
have any
ownership in their job.
responsibility. Yeah.
Whereas, like say here, it's not saying if people come to you with ideas, people do come to us with ideas, and we have implemented stuff that people have come up with, because ultimately they've got responsibility for their own workspace, so therefore they can figure out more efficient ways to do things or better ways of doing things.
Interesting.
Do you think there were any negatives of that?
Yeah, there can be negatives, because then if somebody's doing something that then takes a longer period of time or ends up costing more money, and then you've got 10 people doing things 10 different ways, and obviously it's not as efficient, and which is what we've obviously been trying to do with warehouse processes, making sure we have got processes that tie in with efficiency, and we've made massive gains in the last year or so, certainly since we've moved here, and it's just giving people that responsibility and that ownership over the job, but equally making sure it fits in with what we need to achieve every day as a company.
Yeah. I think if you can make people feel in control of their own destiny, even if there's not even like a clear path of any progression in their role, I feel like you can probably get the most out of people, and because they can probably enjoy it the most. And I think if we're trying to build a purpose-driven company, so I kind of feel like if you do that, you might actually be able to get them to, you know, do that little bit extra and help you try and achieve something slightly bigger than what we are, you know. But talking about like trying to build, because when you joined, I've always been interested in like the social side of a company without knowing about what that is. I think trying to build a company, but we definitely weren't like an environmental company when we started. That kind of happened by accident along the way, because we kind of realised we accidentally had an impact business model, as bad as it sounds. And then we got into this idea of like, we could be an impact business. We could use this to have a positive impact on society. And then I think we've had lots of challenges trying to actually turn that idea into reality, because it's very hard when you're a small business and you basically don't have any money to try and build a business, look after everyone, and think, how do we fix any problems in society or in our own community? I just wondered how good of a job you think we do at that, and how important you think that is to a small business, and what you think is important to do that.
Yeah, I think the nature of the business is we do a good job of that, because ultimately we're turning people's waste into a usable product. Well, not even turning into a usable product, it is a usable product. It's just not being wasted before its time's up. And I think we do a really good job at that. We've been into businesses where they literally throw it in the skip. Millions of boxes thrown into skips over the years to general landfill, and we've turned those into usable boxes for the next company to use. And as a business, that's what businesses should be about, reducing their waste and reducing their impact on things that can be reused.
True. Well, as I like to say, often the most carbon heavy businesses are just the most inefficient businesses.
Yes.
Mic drop. You're going to say something more important and valuable.
No, I was just going to ask a question.
Okay.
What's the proudest moment you've had at Reuseabox so far?
There's been plenty along the way. Probably, being here 7 years, quite proud. But I think in the last year, obviously, we've bought our own premises, which has been a massive plus for the company. Actually moving in here and getting this functioning with the state that the place was in, closing 2 warehouses down in a short period of time, had lots of stresses, and it was probably the most stressful time we've had, because there were hard deadlines, and if we miss them, then we're putting the business at risk, and ultimately, if we miss them, we probably don't have a business. So I think actually buying our own premises and getting that move done in time, with everything that went on around it, and keeping the day-to-day operation going without any kind of impact on our customers and suppliers, was probably biggest thing we've managed to achieve as a group.
Pretty big milestone.
And not only that, doing it without external investment.
Yeah.
To get this far without external
Yeah.
investment is a pretty big achievement.
Final question then. Once you imagine the year is 2035, I want to know, from your perspective, where would you like to see the world? It's very open-ended. Where would you like to see the world in 10 years? And how would you like us to be a part of that?
The world's it's a big old place, isn't it? You can't...
It feels small sometimes.
Right, it does, but I think peace is the biggest thing, isn't it? If everybody's peace and you've got prosperity, then... And if we're still going as a business in 10 years' time, it'd be great to still be part of that journey and see where we're at. Hopefully we've increased in size and we're not just this smallish little business doing what we do. There's massive growth potential, and hopefully we'll be a big part of that, and a big part of making sure we're turning that waste into keeping it out of landfill and keeping it out of recycling before it needs to be.
All said.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Henry.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been really nice to hear, other people's perspectives and their side of the journey we've been on. What about from your perspective, Ellie? The only employee that didn't actually get given a job. You just turned up and took it for yourself.
This is giving me like imposter syndrome.
Which has
Pretty bad.
Which has really, but that's sometimes you need that in a company, like it's a good energy.
Yeah.
But what's it been like from your perspective?
Well, I didn't think I'd be here, to be honest. To be perfectly honest. I thought, boxes, pretty boring, isn't it? And obviously I said to you like 10 years ago, oh no, sorry, it wasn't 10 years, about 9 years ago. I said, do you want any help? And you were like, no. And I just thought, well, I need a bit of money at the time. So I thought, I'll just do this for a bit to kind of get me back on my feet. Then I accidentally stayed. So, no, but I think, we've built something pretty cool, really. We've definitely made a hell of a lot of progress over 10 years with zero investment. You've literally done that just from selling some cardboard boxes again and again and again.
Traded it up. I worked out we've generated £40 million
wow.
since we started.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
it's an insane amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you look at the vast majority of small businesses don't last, do they? They only go a few years, unfortunately. Yeah. There has been some really tough times. There has been. I've thought about leaving about 50,000 times, but no, I'm joking. But no, I think a big achievement for me was becoming a B Corp. I think once we realised that we had this reuse model and we had something that was actually creating this incredible impact, and we fell down that rabbit hole, didn't we? And we worked out the impact of reusing cardboard boxes. And then it was really by chance that I kind of stumbled across B Corp, and I initially thought it was an environmental thing. And obviously it's a lot more than that. And what it's done is it's helped us work out how to run a really good business that's good for people and planet. Because we had no idea, did we?
No.
So I think, I'm super proud of that. And I think it's really helped us do something really good. So what about you?
I think, I think firstly, you came up with the name, kind of.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well done. Well, I think you took inspiration from other stuff, but, that is art, effectively.
I mean, it's better
there
than
are no original ideas these days.
It's better than direct cardboard boxes, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's... And also you... I don't really know what I was doing initially, to be honest, other than trying to help mum and dad a bit. So, you came in and hijacked things and gave us a bit of a North Star, really. And I think becoming a B Corp is probably one of the best things we've ever done. Like, I don't want to put that on B Corp on a pedestal and say, like, it's not. But it's not like the be all and end all. But I think it's taken. I think so many small businesses or all businesses, they're such an important part of our lives. You know, like our entire, you were saying like, you didn't think you'd still be here. 10 years just went by very quickly. And ultimately, like, you know, this is a job, and we spend most of our lives is what's happening while we're working in this company. And I think I really went on a bit of a journey building the company, and I think thanks to your hijacking is really what it was. I think it's helped me understand, like, you know, what I want to be as a person. And for me, I think the thing that I think is really cool is this idea of like, can we find people, channel people's energies, solve something, and ultimately for everyone in the company, like, can this be part of the success story that is their life? You know, and I think that's like, if we could do that, I think it's like mission complete. I think it's very cool. And, you know, if it ends tomorrow, then it ends tomorrow. But if this lasts for like another 60 years, I think like, wow, what a life. And also, what could we do if we keep building on this? You know, I really, really feel like anything could be possible. And it's exciting to think we've got a company, we can do whatever we want with a company, no one can stop us. And to think like, okay, how do we solve problems in society? Well, it just sounds fucking awesome.
It is really cool, isn't it? And
it's great fun.
I think one of the great things about you, Jack, is like your incredible positivity. Like, I remember like in those early days, like you'd come in and we didn't have any money, and you'd just be like, I'm going to make this much money this week. I'm going to sell this many boxes, and I'm just going to do it. And somehow, like, you managed to do it, and you just kind of talked your way into things somehow. And I always used to think that was really incredible, actually.
Thanks. Well, I think we've all done that together, really. But I think if anyone is listening, I think if anyone's listening, I think it's
no one listens.
if there's one thing that anyone should take away from this episode, it's really like the power of getting a group of people, no matter what skill they have when they start, or who they are, or what even they're interested in, because we're not all like interested in the same things, but the power of just getting a group of people together and trying to work on something together that is at least in part about something bigger than ourselves is incredible. That's the way to have a life, you know. And I think every business should not just be focusing on profit. I think every business should be thinking, okay, is there something else we could be doing here as well as making profit that's bigger than ourselves, that we don't need to get paid for? And I think if every business tried to do that, I think people would be shocked about how much their lives could transform.
Where do you see the next 10 years for Reuseabox or yourself?
I think we should keep iterating. I think we should, like, I want us to be like a financially successful company, and I want us to keep thinking, how do we keep looking at these things that could be done better in society and doing them? And I don't think they have to be all related to cardboard boxes. You know, this is a huge industry and we're a tiny little player in this big global industry, and there's a massive opportunity for us to really make a difference when it comes to the environmental impact of packaging and cardboard boxes. And notice, like, the service traditionally from our industry, it's old fashioned and it's not that great. And I love the idea of coming and doing something better. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. We hope it was truly worth your while. For more information, visit reuseabox.co.uk/worthyourwhile.
And if you'd like to appear on the next series of Earth Your While, please email media@reuseabox.co.uk.